straight into the roof of the net. Nice one. Straight down the middle. So a good performance from both teams here.
Hi, you're watching Firstpost. I'm Rupha Ramani. Let's get started. On the show today, the biggest love affair of the Indian Premier League. This is one for the ages. It's a romantic tragedy that is filled with romance, drama, action, thrills, and a lot of heartbreak. There is joy, there is anger, tears, and agony. My quirky take on one of the biggest mysteries in the Indian Premier League. And what's the secret to underdogs coming up to break the norm, shatter the world order, and create a shift in power dynamics? Are the cash-rich leagues finally being shown the mirror? The year of the underdogs is here. Who are they and what's the common thread running as reasons for their success stories? A decode special here on Firstpost. And as always, we get you a heartwarming story. Today, it's about someone living in the shadows doing the unthinkable. We always talk about humans beating another human, but what about people braving nature, overcoming all odds to do the miraculous? Stay on for that and more on the show. But first, Sports 360. We'll start with cricket. Australian legend Ricky Ponting has revealed he was approached for India's head coach role, and he refused it as it would mean being away from home a lot. India's cricket board is on the lookout for a coach for their men's cricket team. Rahul Dravid's contract runs out after the T20 World Cup in July. The BCCI has set May 27th as the last date to submit applications. The first T20 international between Pakistan and England has been abandoned without a single ball bowled. The match at Headingley was called off due to rain. England hasn't played a single T20 international series since December 2023. The two sides will now face each other on the 25th May at Edgbaston. Over in tennis, world number one Novak Djokovic registered his 1,100th tour victory, and that too on his 37th birthday. Djokovic beat Yannick Hanfmann 6-3, 6-3 at the Geneva Open to reach the quarterfinals. Djokovic is only the third player to win 1,100 matches in the Open era. Jimmy Connors with 1,274 and Roger Federer with 1,251 are the only ones who won more matches than Djokovic. Over in football, UEFA has chosen Budapest to host the Men's Champions League final in 2026. It will be held at the Puskás Arena, which has a capacity of over 67,000 and is home to Hungary's national squad. Also, the Europa League final will be hosted in Istanbul's Besiktas Stadium, which has a capacity of around 43,000 spectators. Now, there are many love affairs that have blossomed in the Indian Premier League, the IPL, over time. The legendary MS Dhoni and Chennai, that's the one that comes to mind first. A roaring love story. West Indians and T20 cricket, the original sweethearts, the all-rounders who redefined the shortest format of the game back then. Shane Warne and Rajasthan. The first is always special for anyone. The first title, the very first edition. Preeti Zinta and Punjab. The dimpled actress has been a constant, even as times for Punjab have changed and fortunes haven't. And then, of course, there are the intense love stories that will always end in heartbreak. Like RCB fans and the IPL trophy. It's a rom-com that has drama, anger, emotions, and intensity. It's a bit of a love-hate thing. The love affair of the RCB fan and the IPL trophy is unlike that of any franchise. Their agony of unrequited love is unmatched, because the franchise almost always never fails to fail. Every year flatters to deceive. A true RCB fan is not one who's only felt love. A true RCB fan has felt raw emotions ranging from deep love and adoration to surprise and pleasant shock and intense hatred. A true RCB fan has seen the whole gamut, the entire spectrum of emotions. It's a roaring, raging love affair. And every season is a roller coaster ride. What makes the story more heartbreaking is that every year the RCB fan is almost hypnotized into believing this year will be it, Saala Cup Namde, their famous slogan, which translates to this year the cup shall be ours. It's a strong belief that is reinstilled at the start of every season, every year without fail. The pomp, the show, the social media, Big Bang, the announcements, the hula hoop, and the noise around the team is fabulous. It makes you truly believe this year will be it. It gives you that hope. And with a win against Chennai, like they did, a consecutive sixth win on the trot, the writing was on the wall. This year, Romeo and Juliet would reunite and rewrite the script. This year, the historic love story will be rewritten, and they had the perfect opportunity. RCB was riding high on momentum, confidence. Virat Kohli was emotional. Anushka Sharma, his wife, was in the stands, pumped up, cheering him on. Dinesh Karthik's stirring speech, Faf du Plessis' stunning fielding efforts, someone whispering God's plan. The signs were all there. And contrastingly, Rajasthan was in a bit of a slump. Seemed like they were still mourning Jos Buttler's absence. They were on a losing streak. Perfect opportunity then for this year, the cup shall be ours. And the match had its moments too, even though the target seemed gettable. That stunning Virat Kohli run out from the deep where he sprinted into his wrong side, threw it back very sharp, and Dhruv Jurel was out by mere millimeters. The commentators saying it's still match on, 2 wickets in an over, and you never know, things would change. Even as Riyan Parag was on the cusp of scripting something magical for Rajasthan. Bengaluru's Mohammad Siraj gets 2 wickets, sends back Parag first up, and then the second, a brilliant catch running backwards, taken by none other than Faf du Plessis. And the RCB fan thinks once more, this cup is ours this year. And somehow, they fall short yet again. The dream comes to a crash, the Romeo-Juliet narrative intact. A loss once again, so near and yet so far in 2022 as well. Memes, of course, explode, as you would guess in this time we're in. And more so when it's about the Bengaluru IPL franchise, many probably made up by the die-hard RCB fans alone. And Dinesh Karthik, who also quietly played his last IPL, walking out with his entire team clapping and applauding him from behind, summed it up rather aptly in an interview with fellow statemate R. Ashwin, who he faced last night in fact. He spoke about the true RCB fan.
RCB fans are loyalists. They're actually family, and I say that in good and bad ways. The good way is that when you go, no matter what happens, if I walk in, they will cheer my name and make me feel like I'm the greatest player on earth. On a personal level, that same fan will abuse me silently in DMs every day. He will go hard at me if I don't do well for RCB. He will smash me, not just me, my family, and whoever is possible in my life. But to the outside world, they will not give up an RCB player.
The fans will love them, and after a loss that completely, almost seemingly destroys the spirit, will come out of stuff saying this. Now, the only option is to make a trophy, simple enough, or steal it, possibly. The last option, really. There were a few others too, like the next one. I saw a lot of variants of this one, of the CSK fans mocking RCB, who had beaten Chennai in their last game and celebrated like it was the last ever match. And that's why this is a torrid, stormy love affair like none other. The true Romeo and Juliet of the Indian Premier League. You sense a heartbreak always around the corner, but you are so deep in it, too invested to walk away with any better sense prevailing. And when there is true love, there's very little sense. The quintessential unrequited love of the Indian Premier League. Football has become more about the merit of the rich. Clubs with more money will buy the best players, get the best facilities in place, and also get the best managers to get the best results. But this year has changed all of that. The big giants have had to take a back seat because the underdogs have been on the rise. The reason we are talking about it here as the league season is drawing to a close is that it wasn't just one club that rewrote a script that has been passed down the ages, which is spend more, to reap more rewards. And while it's fascinating to watch clubs with history and stature win and further their legacy, the underdog story is what we truly live for. Like the Europa League final last night that saw Bayer Leverkusen go up against Atalanta. Two clubs with close to nothing in European history had reached a final. Now, if the same two clubs had reached the final last year, it would have been either a little shocking, of course, but also probably dull. But not this year. And you could tell so by just the cheers and the excitement that fans were showing as they were building up to this clash.
Come on, Gyro, come. When you choose, yeah.
I hope at least 1-0 for Atalanta.
I think Leverkusen are going to win 3-0.
Right, like the fans are saying, everyone had their money on Xabi Alonso's Leverkusen because they clinched the German league title against all odds. They dethroned traditional powerhouses like Bayern Munich, and while Bayern kept attracting big players like Harry Kane or relied on their past, Leverkusen was busy creating a new one. They kept faith in youngsters and gave Xabi Alonso freedom to explore. And that too with limited financial resources. Not just the Bundesliga triumph that made their campaign special, it was Leverkusen's unbeaten run of 51 games across all competitions that earned them the tag of never losing. A club which was called Leverkusen for not winning a league title in 119 years, always losing the important games, was now being referred to as never losing. But that unbeaten run had to end someday, right? And it came against another club that has punched above its weight this season, Atalanta. The Italian club ended Leverkusen's 51-match unbeaten run last night. They beat Leverkusen 3-0 to clinch their maiden European trophy. A club that had not won a single European title in their history. So while the famous Italian clubs AC Milan, Juventus and Inter Milan were busy licking their wounds, Atalanta was busy ending Italy's 25-year-long trophy drought. They did it in 2024, this year, the year of the underdogs. Atalanta's major honor before this was their Coppa Italia triumph that came way back in 1963. For years, the club featured in the second division of the Italian league, Serie B, where they won 6 titles, and even in the third division, where they won the title in 1982. So clearly, the Europa League triumph was a major achievement for them. And just like Leverkusen, they didn't attract big players either. They just stuck to the old method of football, make the most of the resources they have, and put their faith in the youngsters. Just like the Europa League final hero, Ademola Lookman, the winger who scored 3 goals in the final, has scored 30 goals ever since his arrival at the club in 2022. And everyone celebrated this triumph, including Lookman, whose dance moves are just as electrifying as his football. Lookman, for instance, has been a part of the club's fearless approach to football. Express and play your heart out. No need for over-planning. They attack when it's needed and defend when it's required. Relying on simple principles of the sport, because before Leverkusen, they beat the likes of Liverpool to reach the final. Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool that has won Champions League, Premier League title in the recent few years. And so you sensed it then maybe that the team that beat Liverpool was most likely to probably go all the way. The fans, of course, loved every minute of this coming-of-age triumph.
I campioni dell'Europa siamo noi!
It's an historic win. It's crazy. It's unbelievable, guys. It's not describable tonight. It's Cinderella of Europe that it's coming to the stairs, like to the top. It's amazing.
Yeah, Cinderella of Europe. I'll remember that phrase. But it isn't just Leverkusen or Atalanta that have been shattering the glass ceiling. In the German league, there are two more clubs that have upset the world order, a league that is usually considered a one-club race, dominated by Bayern Munich. It saw two more sides apart from Leverkusen questioning the set pattern. Despite encountering formidable opponents in the Champions League, Dortmund defied all odds and made it to the final. Their thrilling performances on the pitch have captured the hearts of fans worldwide, proving that success isn't always about money. Without the star powers, the club has flourished under Edin Terzic. Dortmund are known for producing talents, and they continue to do so. Just like Leverkusen and Atalanta, they too have focused on building the club around youngsters. While Dortmund has the experience of Marco Ruiz, they also have youngsters like Bainoi Gittins. Again, not big names, but players who play natural football, the concept of see ball and strike ball. Take VfB Stuttgart. The club finished second in Bundesliga. They've qualified for the Champions League next season. That's massive. The club has experienced mixed fortunes over the years. Before 1990, the club enjoyed remarkable success. Thereafter, it was relegated to the lower division of German football, and it was only in 2020 that Stuttgart was promoted to the first division. So for them to qualify for Champions League is a massive achievement. And if it wasn't for Leverkusen's dominance, a lot of the talk would have been about this side too. That's the other common trait here between these clubs, a club that is grooming young talents. And it's seen across all these clubs that are considered the underdogs, from their midfield to defense and even forwards. The average age falls under 26 in Stuttgart, the oldest being their goalkeeper, Fabian Bredlow, who is 29. Now, the rise isn't restricted to the Italian league or the German league alone. In French league too, club Stade Brestois have punched above their weight, securing qualification for next year's Champions League. A club that never featured in Europa League, playing in the Champions League would be huge. And unlike Stuttgart, Brest aren't sleeping giants. Their best ever finish in the French league has been 8th. And even in the second division of French league, they only won the title once in 1981. So all of these clubs have shown that regardless of financial constraints or lack of star power, they can still thrive and perform. Because money might attract star players, but will that mean they can function as a unit and succeed? These clubs have proved that football is simple. Just focus on the basics and groom young talent and you're good. Leverkusen, Dortmund, Stuttgart and Brest have shown us that success is not determined by the size of the pocket, but by the strength of the spirit. And the common factor between all these clubs was their focus on utilizing the resources they had and make it count. Maybe a lesson for all the big clubs out there who feel like spending money is the only path to success. There are many more frugal, more rewarding ways. It's said that climbing the ladder of success is hard. It requires passion, grit, fighting spirit, and a little bit of luck too. Attaining the pinnacle of success is like climbing Mount Everest, Earth's highest mountain above sea level. It's not easy, and there is a reason very few have surmounted this. But one person has definitely made this seem very, very easy. Our story today transcends the boundaries of ordinary human achievement. It's about a man who achieved something that is hard to imagine. And here's what makes this a heartwarming story. The achievement is of one who is not in the spotlight, not in the limelight. He's in the shadows. We're diving deep into the achievements of Sherpa guide Kami Rita from Nepal. This comes at a time when the country is facing backlash for its cricketer Sandeep Lamichhane, who's been in the news for all the wrong reasons. Rita is one, though, whose name echoes through the peaks of the Himalayas because he has scaled Mount Everest for a record 30th time. He's broken his own record, once again proving that the human spirit knows no bounds. And it's not just him. Another climber has broken a record right after Rita's unthinkable feat. What makes these stories remarkable and a lesson for us? Take a look.
Born in the shadows of the world's highest peaks, Kami Rita's journey began long before he set foot on the Everest. Growing up in a small village in Nepal, he learned the value of resilience from a very young age. Against all odds, Kami Rita pursued his passion for mountaineering. His first brush with Mount Everest in 1994 was just the beginning of a lifelong love affair with the mountains. But it wasn't always smooth sailing. As you would know, it's humans versus nature, where so many things are not in your control. Kami Rita faced many challenges along the way, from treacherous weather to personal setbacks. Yet, with each obstacle, he emerged stronger, more determined than ever. With 30 climbs already, he has achieved the feat on record occasions. His closest competitor for the most climbs on Mount Everest is fellow Sherpa guide Pasang Dawa, who has done it 27 times. Rita's passion comes from his father, who was one of the first Sherpa guides. No wonder then that since his first climb in 1994, Rita has made sure that this is an annual affair for him. At 54, he is not thinking of slowing down. Rita's tryst with the 8,848 meter tall target is unmatched for, and to think he's the one in the shadows helping climbers achieve their dreams. He fuels their ambition, helps them traverse one of the most treacherous journeys in the world. And here's the best part about this achievement. It has come 10 days after he climbed the Everest successfully. That's beast mode level accomplishment. In addition to the Everest, Kami Rita has scaled several other peaks, including K2, Cho Oyu, Manaslu and Lhotse. These are some of the world's highest.
The Sherpas have been contributing towards tourism. I feel that I've done something big, not just for the Sherpas, but for the whole country.
While it's easy to say that age should never hold one back, or talk about other athletes who have continued to stay at the top of their game-defying age, those were in conditions that were largely sanitized and controlled. It's humans versus humans. What Rita is battling is nature. It's human versus nature. Facing what is not in your control is the toughest challenge. And that is why Rita's achievements are an inspiration for many. And it seems like climbers from Nepal have the spirit to do this, because hot on the heels of this monumental achievement comes the news of a Nepali female climber, Phunjo Lama. She reached Everest summit in 14 hours and 31 minutes. Incredible. She smashed the record for the world's fastest ascent of the mountain by a woman. And it wasn't just another record-breaking achievement. She shaved more than 11 hours of the previous best by a Hong Kong climber in 2021. Climbers usually take days to reach the top mountain, spending nights on its different camps to rest and acclimatize. And while these achievements make it fascinating, there is another side to it. And like other sports, a loss can be more severe. Over 330 people have perished in their attempt to scale this beast of a mountain. That is why this is an unbelievable achievement. Rita shows that true resilience is not just about reaching the summit. It's about the courage to take that first step and the perseverance to keep going even when it seems impossible sometimes. Rita and Phunjo's journeys are a testament to the human spirit, a reminder that we all have the power to defy limits and conquer our own Everest, whatever that may be.
Time for last serve. Now, it's been close to 2 years since Roger Federer retired from professional tennis, but the former world number one still got it. His forehand seems to be just as good as it was during his playing days. He was in Paris entertaining some kids with his skills. Take a look. Obviously, with the French Open around the corner, all top stars have to gravitate to Paris. That does it here on Firstpost. I'll see you again tomorrow with some more stories. Till then, bye-bye.